Hello guys, today I'm happy to present the final installment of our Caselabs S3 tutorial made by Hanover. I'm really happy with the result. I can't wait the box arriving here so we can work on this amazing build. For those of you who would like to chat with Hanover directly about potentially your own project, I'm posting link to his website and forum. You can contact him directly, nail all details just straight to him. But for now, let's enjoy my own case.
Hey guys, Hanover here, back with the final video for the Caselabs Mercury S3 paint job with the Mocha Pearl. And I'm not going to bore you with a full-length assembly video. It can be awfully hard to watch. What I am going to do is just show you how I'm going to go about it. And with a paint job like this, I really don't want to drop a tool or drop any kind of screws onto this to scratch it. Even though it does have a very heavy clear coat on it, I'm still going to take all the precautions necessary to protect this paint from any kind of mishaps that I might have. I have to apologize for being away for so long. I think it's been a couple months, but I'm fully back in gear now, painting and modding, and built a brand new booth. So that took quite a bit of time. I'm just happy to be back spraying paint again. First thing we're going to do is just show you here microfiber cloth, just to protect any kind of any drops or any screw drops, any kind of tool drops. We'll just start putting these pieces back together, and the fun thing is going to be actually reassembling this thing after being away from it for so long. But thankfully I took a couple hundred pictures of this thing while it was together, and then also in the disassembly stage, so it shouldn't be that bad. Just go back through my pics and take a look at it. But here we have the front panel, back side of it. And what I'm going to do is just start assembling this thing. Now I do probably have a little bit of paint on these threads, and maybe even on some of these threaded holes, but that shouldn't be a problem. Some of it, I tried to stay as thin as I could with getting as much coverage as I could. I didn't plug up any holes to say, but I can already feel that this is going to be a hard start. It wants to bottom. But just go real slow with it. You can see the nut actually took off the paint from the threads, so it's moving real nice now. Yeah. There we go. There's the first one. So, like I said, I'm not going to bore you with a full assembly video here. So, next thing you'll see is a S3 painted with Mocha Pearl, clear coated. Alright guys, real quick assembly update. About 90% assembled here. You can see it's almost completely put back together. I got a couple small parts left to fix a couple clear coat dust spots, but other than that, it was the side panel that I'm still working on, and one of the inserts for the vandal switches and USB. And I think, yeah, the SSD mount, and then one PCI cover that I'm doing in black pearl. Then that's it. We'll be fully assembled. One thing I forgot to mention in the beginning is when you are adding multiple layers of paint to one of these that comes in primer, be careful to stay as thin as you can, because when you go back to assemble this thing, the tolerances were already pretty tight to begin with, so putting this thing back together was really really pretty tight. I mean, I've added a sealer coat on the paint itself, you know, 2-3 coats with the paint, and then 2 coats of clear. So I've added to the thickness of this, and it really can get tight in some spots, and you have to be really careful to work it back together. But I mean, this thing's a little tank right now. It's just really, I'm really happy with the results here. The black pearl, I think, really helped out with breaking up the mocha and the amount of mocha on it. Just with a couple little spots, your PCI bracket here in the back, and then the little covers themselves, which he probably won't use if I fill up all those spots. And then the motherboard tray itself is black. So like I said, a little bit of assembly update, and I'm saying, you know, I'm guessing this is about 90% done here. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's taken quite a long time to get to this point, but I do these things for a hobby. I have a full-time job. It takes quite a bit of time, and so if you're planning on, if you're like me and you've got a pretty busy life outside of modding and painting, you know, it takes quite a bit of time to do these, but the end result is well worth the wait. And soon I'm going to be wrapping this up and shipping it out, and then we'll get some reaction from DazMode while he puts the build together into this thing. So this is the Caselabs S3 Mercury, almost complete with the mocha pearl and a little bit of black pearl from the Vera Jackson Color Collector Series line of paint. Now here's a collection of parts that are completely finished. We've got the GT fans that are painted, and his miscellaneous brackets, all finished with mocha pearl and the clear coat. Let's see how nice this came out. Really nice finish. The bracket itself is metal, and then the cover plate is plastic. But it's absolutely beautiful. As you can see, the pearl dances a little bit there. So that's an example of what these parts look like. Here's an example of his CD-ROM front cover, or optical drive. I'm sure it's a Blu-ray burner or something, I'm not sure. But came out really nice, as you can clearly see. That'll match the front up. There's front of this thing will just look absolutely amazing. Alright, so I'll get back to it, and today should be the final day of Move any kind of errors that I had, any kind of dust repair. And one thing about shooting clear coat is it can be challenging at times if you have any kind of dust in your air at all. If you're not in a professional booth, you're going to have your hands full with any kind of really small dust particles land in clear coat, and you can see it right away. It's definitely something you have to have a lot of patience for, is the clear coat. So shooting a single stage urethane or enamel is way easier than this type of application, but I feel this Caselabs case definitely deserves this kind of finish. So, alright guys, we're at the very final piece of the Caselabs case, and what I'm going to do here is just show a quick example of how I treated the clear coat on these pieces. After it dried for between 24 and 48 hours, I used a piece of 2000 grit wet sandpaper and just lightly cut any kind of little dust nibs off that might have landed in the clear as I was shooting. Like I said, I don't have a 100% dust-free booth, but this panel is completely scuffed. You can clearly see how it's what the wet sand left the clear coat like. Rather scuffed up, but we're going to fix that right now. So what you do after you've, or after I've scuffed it with the paper and cut any material off the top that I didn't want on there, I'm going to use some Meguiar's Ultimate Compound and a foam cutting wheel and start to buff this back to a shine. I use Meguiar's because it's cheaper than that super expensive 3M rubbing compound. I believe there's 2 compounds, a polishing and a rubbing compound, but that stuff's 60-70 bucks a bottle. It's pretty expensive. I mean, this is for what I'm doing here with this case, this is perfect. I'm not building a show quality car or anything, so this right here will do the job. Doesn't take much of this stuff either. If you apply too much, you're going to sling it all over the place. So yeah, like now I'm just making a mess with this stuff. So just kind of rub it into your pad a little bit. Doesn't take very much. This is a real low RPM gun here anyway, so I'm not worried about burning through my clear coat or anything with it. Variable speed, so that helps. Okay, now you can see just rub the excess off with a microfiber cloth, so you can see quite a bit of difference from my scuffed panel earlier to what the first pad did with the Meguiar's Ultimate Compound, but it can still get nicer. So the next thing is just switch out pads here. Put a finishing pad on. It's a little bit finer foam, not such a coarse wheel like the first one. A few hairs on it, but the end result from this step is pretty glossy clear coat. That's got a pretty nice finish on it. And this little 3-inch tool here is perfect for small parts. I mean, I have a 6-inch orbital, but it's just too big to try and handle with these little parts. I mean, it's hard to hold on to these things in a, you know, a 6-inch orbital buffer. So after I'm done with this here, your last wheel would be wax, but I haven't done any wax to this case yet at all. I might even just leave that up to Daz if he wants to put wax on it. He can. I mean, you can completely treat this like you would your car. Wax will give you a nice protective coating, also bring out your shine a little bit more even. So what I'm doing here is just trying to get the clear coat to look its best. Alright, so we're done with the fine foam wheel. Showroom shine. Looks pretty good. So we'll get the parts on it and put it on the case and show you a finished product. Alright guys, the final assembly for the Caselabs S3 done in Mocha Pearl. It came out really nice. More than pleased with the way this thing looks here. About 50 hours spread out over about 5 months. So it was quite a project to get involved in. I just goes to show you, if you take your time and do things right, you can get quite a really nice finish going. All the prep work paid off, especially for this paint. And Daz, I sure hope you're real careful with this. At least wait a week before you put a big scratch in it. One nice thing about clear coat is that you can repair it as long as you don't scratch too deep. You can always get some wet sand going and fix some scratches and buff it back out again. But you know, I'm extremely happy with the way this thing looks. The black pearl accents on the motherboard tray came out perfect. The rear PCI brackets here just breaks up ever so slightly breaks up that mocha. If you carry this thing outside, it's just a complete transformation. The pearl starts to dance in the sunshine, and being down here right now, it looks like a real dark cup of coffee, which I kind of enjoy, or it has a real chocolate look to it, which is something different in a computer case, I think. It does show a lot of dust, but that's what rags are for. So once again, a complete Caselabs Mercury S3 taken from the light primer gray. sanded that and shot it with a black primer sealer, and sanded that and shot it with the mocha pearl and the few parts with the black pearl, and then clear coated with Finish 1 710, which is a spot and panel coat, clear coat, fast drying. And like I said, about 50 hours, somewhere in that 50, 60, somewhere in that neighborhood. It just came out spectacular. So I'll finish up here by saying thanks to Jim at Caselabs for sponsoring this case and having me paint it. And thanks to DazMode for setting this all up. And I'll be packing this up and shipping it off to Canada so we can get the build put in it, and we can watch that on a YouTube channel, DazMode's YouTube channel. So I am hand over fist with CaseModContest.com, and thanks for watching.